You damn right. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to a baseball tournament. Welcome to the NBA Finals. Do we have a series? Or does it feel like it's going to be a squash? We'll get into all of that. Texas and Louisiana coming up. Just think of us as your extended pregame today. It is Chad and Zay. We got basketball to get to. And yes, we've got an SEC schedule to look forward to for the Longhorns and the Sooners and those other 14 teams. I'm Chad Hastings, and he is the future SEC fan, Isaiah Collier. What's up, Zay?
SEC. What up, Chad? Happy Friday, everybody. The road to Omaha starts today.
That's it.
Ain't no rain gonna knock us down.
Hey, look, it's Florida. It's Florida. They deal with rain like the rest of us deal with just sunrise and sunset.
Yeah.
Gonna rain a little bit, then it's gonna stop. Then it's gonna be muggy. Then it's gonna rain again. Then it's gonna do the same thing. It's going to be all right.
We're going to stay locked in. It's time to go. Louisiana ain't ready. That gumbo's tainted. That Antouffet is spoiled. And we're come to spoil it. Let's go.
Apparently they've used a lot of pitching lately. It's been a lot of it. So hopefully the Longhorns are able to take advantage of that today. They need a badass Lucas Gordon showing up today.
Yeah.
There is so much importance at the front end of this tournament. When you get into the regional situation, you do not want to try to fight through the loser's bracket. And I heard somebody say it today, and I completely agree, especially if you can get those first two wins. First win, critical. Second win is really important as well. Then you can set yourself up to where, all right, if you lost a game later and are forced to beat a team, team's forced to beat you twice and they get one from you, that's a little different. Then you can reset for one game. But if you lose this one and you have to go to 11 a.m. tomorrow and fight your way back through, and let's say Miami beats Maine and then they get to stay fresh, that's obviously not what Texas wants. So Texas needing a big win to start the tournament. And if you love college baseball, man, this is your time of year. Sit back and enjoy it. Hopefully you got your streaming service all hooked up. Because if you're a college baseball fan, you got to have that ESPN Plus going.
Oh, yeah, it's a must.
There's a lot of different fan bases, I think, that need ESPN Plus. College baseball freaks are one of them, because that way you're seeing anything you want today. You can dial into any region you want today as long as you got the streaming option.
Yeah, ESPN Plus, they do their thing.
Yeah,
it's
incredible.
When it first started, a little shaky, but they tightened it up, and it's a lot better now, using it all basketball season long and baseball season. It was very easy. Yeah, shout out to them.
Yep. So that's coming up later on, scheduled 12:45 pregame, 1 o'clock first pitch. As of right now, I'm not hearing anything from Craig Way, knock on wood, that anything needs to get postponed today. So we'll do what we need to on the front end here. We'll get you to Texas and Louisiana. And in the meantime, we'll talk about the NBA Finals, and we will talk about an SEC schedule. If you missed it yesterday, the SEC decided they're going to go ahead and go with that 8-game schedule for at least next year, because it'll be easier to deal with. We'll talk about what that means coming up. But Zay, the NBA Finals began the way that I think you and I both thought they would, with a Denver win. We both picked Denver in 5. They certainly were the better team last night.
Yeah, they were very impressive. They did not look rusty one bit. 9 days off, and they came in like gangbusters and really took it to the Miami Heat and set the tone early for the rest of the game. And if I'm a Miami Heat fan, yeah, that loss hurts. But with everything that went wrong, Jimmy Butler, 14 shots, only 13 points, struggling. You got Duncan Robinson, only 3 points, goes 1 for 5 from 3, 1 from 6 for the field.
Brutal.
Then you got Max Strus.
Oh.
Today is National Donut Day, Chad.
Oh.
This fool celebrated yesterday because he gave you 0 of them things.
The collar.
The only player in NBA Finals history to have over 10 field goal attempts and have 0 points.
Did you say history, like ever?
History. Ever. Ever.
You're saying Larry Bird never did that?
Oh, hell no.
Craig Hodges never did that?
Nope.
Reggie Miller never did that?
Pat Riley never did it.
Not even Pat? Okay.
Not even Pat Riley.
Right. Okay.
So that's tough. And we talked about the legs that the Miami Heat Are they going to have those legs coming into Denver with that brutal 7-game series against the Boston Celtics?
Plus the altitude.
Yeah. Jimmy Butler looked a little gassed yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
And a lot of that has to go to Aaron Gordon. I thought he was amazing. As good as Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic were, breaking NBA Finals records as two of the only players in their, I guess the debut to have over 10 assists. And then they got a record with Worthy and Magic. Over 20 points and 10 assists.
25 and
10. Stupid.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
That's crazy.
That's stupid what they're doing.
Crazy.
But Aaron Gordon, what he did offensively, especially in that first quarter, those 12 points that he had really early. And shout out to Coach Malone. I talked about it yesterday. The Denver Nuggets have a big time difference in height when it comes to the Miami Heat. Big. And they utilize that. If you're going to put Caleb Martin on Aaron Gordon, then we're going to post them up because we have so many shooters on the outside, like our big man, Nikola Jokic, who's shooting 47% from three. You can't help. You can't help at all. They had so many of those easy buckets cutting off Nikola Jokic. Jamal Murray had a couple of dunks. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, he had a layup. Michael Porter Jr. had dunks. They played really well off Nikola Jokic in that first half. And in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, Joker came into his own and started scoring to really ice the game. But yeah, if you're the Miami Heat, you shoot 2 free throws last night. That's a little sketchy, Chad.
2 for the game.
2 for the game. That's a little sketchy. That's a playoff record.
All-time playoff record low. You saying sketchy as in the officials may need to be talked to?
Yeah. Was Eric Davis sitting in the nosebleeds? Like, was something going on? I don't know.
Is that Eric Davis with an Apple Watch? What is happening up there?
Yo, it's and weirdly, just being the diehard Texas fan, I was like, oh, this is karma for the diehard Miami fan that supports the Miami Hurricanes and the Miami Heat. Y'all remember what happened in the Elite Eight? That differential in free throws, especially in the second half, where the Texas Longhorns, without Dylan Dessou, was playing really good basketball, and then all of a sudden in the second half, it shifted. And Miami got all the calls on their way to a Final Four. So, yeah, if you're a Heat fan and the Miami Hurricane fan, you probably remember both, and both of them were sketchy. So, again, if you're the Miami Heat and you're Eric Spoelstra, there were a lot of good things that you did last night. My Denver Nuggets didn't stop them one bit. All those jumpers, Max Strus missed, Duncan Robinson.
A lot of open looks. Lots of open looks. Yeah,
Jimmy Butler, he has to be better, though. He didn't really get going. It seemed like he was kind of going a la LeBron, trying to figure out how he was being played, and they did a really good job. Bam Adebayo, he was terrific last night. 26 points, 13 for 25, 13 rebounds. He was really good, but I think that's what Denver wants them to do. That they want Bam Adebayo to be that number one scoring option, because that takes away from what Miami loves to do, and that's take threes with their role players and have Jimmy Butler create and get to the line. Like, again, you got 2 free throws last night as a team. Yeah. There was one point in the playoffs where Jimmy Butler was averaging 10 free throw attempts a game, or making 10 free throws a game.
Yeah.
That, you completely taking them away from what they want to do offensively and their chemistry. But guys like Kyle Lowry, him pushing the rock, he kept them in the game. Hayward Highsmith, he was great last night defensively at times. And when Miami went zone, it kind of mucked up the chemistry and the flow that the Denver Nuggets had. I think Mike Malone and the Nuggets will adjust in game 2. So when that comes up, it's not gonna phase them one bit. But still, Miami did some really good things. Denver didn't stop them, but if you're a Miami Heat fan, I would be very nervous because you did not stop Denver at all either.
No, that's going to be a big issue for them because they were able to spread the scoring out so much. I'm glad you mentioned Aaron Gordon. There are a lot of problems Miami encountered last night. I'm not sure if there was any of them that are bigger than that problem, because in the end, when all you end up with is Skilo, wasn't it Skilo? I wish I was a little bit taller. Wasn't that Skilo? I think
so, yeah.
That's where they ended up on that. There's nothing you can do.
No.
There's nothing you could do. You just can't all of a sudden decide to get taller. I thought that matchup, what he was able to do was massive. And then when we get to the history of it, again, the stat, Murray and the Joker. Second pair of teammates to have 25 points and 10 assists in a finals game. Magic and Worthy are the other two. So just think about all the duos between then and now. All of them. Shaq and Kobe didn't do it. Michael and Scottie didn't do it. Hakeem and nobody else did it. Whoever you want to match him up with, Hakeem and,
You sure Hakeem and Vernon Maxwell didn't do
and
that?
Vernon,
You sure Mad Max?
him and Sam, him and whoever.
Before Max was going in the crowd trying to fight folks?
Never did it. And I'm telling you, Zay, watching Nikola Jokic play basketball is such a joy. The versatility of what he can do. The last guy I remember having these feelings about was LeBron because of the different ways it happened, where you'd go, oh, that kind of reminds me of that guy. That kind of reminds me of that guy. Last night, Joker's pulling all kinds of stuff out. I see one thing and I go, that kind of looked like Tim Duncan. And I see something else and it's like, that was kind of Dirkish. And I see something else and I go, oh, that was kind of like Magic. I mean, it was just all over the place. It's brilliant stuff to watch. That fool took 5 shots from the floor in the first 3 quarters, and they were dominating.
Yeah. And he was taking over the game. With only 5 shots taken,
yes,
he was taking over the game with his passing and all the attention that he draws because he's such a superstar. His touch is ridiculous. Like, just the floaters. As a big man, that's one thing you love about Dylan Dessou and his touch. Like, Joker, he'll shoot that little teardrop floater around the free throw line. That's money. He shot a nasty fadeaway that looked a lot like Dirk in the closing game, in the fourth quarter. Just icing.
How can a center remind me of Dirk and Steve Nash in the same game? That's not real. Dirk and Tony Parker in the same game. That's stupid.
Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. hit some huge shots. Bruce Brown, he had a big run. It seemed like he had 10 points himself. They're very impressive. And Jamal Murray, he reminds me a lot of Darren Williams. Like being that big point guard, having a pure pull-up jumper. Nothing phases him. He could post up. He could pass. Like him getting 10 assists. He was setting guys up. They were playing off him.
It was almost like that hockey assist thing where they don't have hockey assists in basketball, but for Joker to set up 14 assists and him to have 10, it just shows you it wasn't just one of them. It was trickling down. Both of the stars were being that unselfish.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They rarely turn the ball over, and again, Joker, he's the perfect superstar that you want for your team. You don't got to worry about him on that Ja Morant shooting stuff. You don't got to worry about him going to the strip club. All he wants to do is hoop and go back to his little farmland up in Serbia. That's it. In the summer and relax. He was talking about, with Grant Hill and Charles Barkley and Shaq yesterday, he was talking about after the game, I was chilling during the 9 days we were off. Hanging out with the pool, hanging with the family. Y'all see this tan-eyed guy? Like, he has a great personality that it doesn't come off as a superstar. It comes off like an everyday guy. So it's relatable, and it makes him way more likable than a lot of these other fools that are acting a fool in the association.
Plus, you got to understand, Zay, the only way I can relate to Jokic, I can't do it with talent. I can do it with paleness. Us pale folks, we do like to brag on our tans if we can get them.
Yeah.
Because we usually don't get them and we can't keep them sometimes. So if we get one, we're going to let you know about it.
Yeah, the only thing bad about Nikola Jokic is that way too old school fade he's got. He's got to get a new barber. It's tough. That NBA Finals fade ain't working.
He's got like the haircut from Hoosiers. Right? Like every other player in Hoosiers had that haircut. 104-93 was the final score of the game.
He has that Ollie LaCole haircut, like that Ollie haircut that was shooting Rick Barry style.
Right, yeah. So game 1 is done. Let us know what you thought of it. Somebody just texted us earlier. Jokic was meant to be a Spur. Go Spurs, go. No, there's a Spurness to what he does. I know what you're saying there. Somebody says Joker's efficiency is unreal. No turnovers, 27 points on 12 attempts. By the way, 10 of 12 from the line, too, in case you didn't catch that part. So there's really nothing that he doesn't do. There's not really anything he can't do. And we'll see now, what does Eric Spoelstra do? Because I bet he wasn't expecting that line at the end. Hey, coach, Adebayo's going to be fine. It's Butler who's going to be the shaky one. So would you tell Butler, Zay, to just get more aggressive right from the beginning? Because it almost felt like he was trying to mirror the Joker's distribution.
Yeah.
And it kind of got him out of sorts.
Well, with Jimmy Butler, you look at the last 3 series, from Milwaukee to New York to Boston. and all the matchups that he took advantage of. Like even though Drew Holiday is one of the best defenders of all time, he's still a point guard. So putting him on Jimmy Butler, he was able to post him up and get him in the lane and just go right over the top, and Drew Holiday couldn't stop him.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to the New York series, you got guys like Josh Hart and Quentin Grimes trying to check him. They're too small too. Same thing. Put mouse in the house, putting them in the blender, using those guys in the post, hitting them with his, signature pump fake and getting themselves to the line. Last series, we saw the same thing, even though the Celtics did a way better job, games 4 through 6, not biting on those pump fakes, being way more disciplined, which got them back in the series. Again, who knows what would have happened if Jason Tatum didn't get injured in Game 7. But now, with the Denver Nuggets, everybody's big. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is 6'7". Jamal Murray, 6'5". Now, and they're putting Aaron Gordon on him, who's 6'10". So he can't take advantage of those matchups. Even Bruce Brown is 6'5", but Bruce Brown has a really long wingspan that, changes the game and makes life tough. So him getting to the line, him driving it, it's going to be a lot more difficult. He has to hit that mid-range jumper, and he has to hit the three at a consistent basis. That's the only way the Heat are going to have a chance, and that's not Jimmy's game. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to get people involved. He wants to get to the line. He wants to get easy buckets. He tried to take advantage of mismatches. The only one that's there who's become a way better defender, during its time in the league is Michael Porter Jr. He's their worst defender. And there was a time where they got that switch with Jimmy Butler on him, and Jimmy took him to the rack and got a layup. But you also saw Michael Porter Jr. being 6'10". Sometimes he could get beat and he could still retreat and get a block just because he's that size.
They're so damn long.
It's ridiculous.
You mentioned it going in. You said it'd be a part of the matchup. And I watched the game. I was trying to watch part of that game last night, almost like just with a big 10,000-foot view. And the announcers were saying it. I was thinking of you saying it. Like you could just see Miami's smallness as they came up and down the floor.
Christian Braun, the Kansas rookie. He was one of the best defenders I've seen in the Big 12 in the last 10 years. Mike Malone has so much confidence in playing the youngster because he has a championship pedigree winning with Bill Self a couple of years ago, and he's an elite defender. So there were times that he was on Kevin Durant this season during the playoffs, and he'll come in and he'll muck things up and make life hard.
8 minutes last night.
8 minutes, 8 quality minutes, diving on the floor. You see the crowd get hyped when he dove on the floor and stuff like that. Like, that's huge.
Yeah,
effort stuff. Like, that's huge down the line. Christian Braun, he's a tough guy. That's all they have. That's all they play. The Denver Nuggets, you look at Nikola Jokic, like, oh, this dude's soft. He's European. You know what they always think of those European guys. That's what Dirk had the first 10 years of his career. This guy's soft. He ain't tough. He doesn't have what it takes. That's BS. I think that's what the Phoenix Suns were thinking when they didn't decide to pick Luka Doncic in the draft and selected DeAndre Ayton, which was still one of the worst moves in NBA history, a la Sam Bowie, Michael Jordan. But yeah, we got to stop looking at these overseas guys and thinking they're soft. They ain't. Nikola Jokic is an absolute dog. He's goofy. He might be a little husky, but he's in shape, and he's one of the best players that I've ever seen.
Just watch his feet. Those feet move, and they move really well. Some text rolling in on the Specs text line, 337-3776. This says Spoelstra's got 2 days off to watch video. I think Miami will make adjustments and tie it up on Sunday. This one says, as a Mavs fan, it was satisfying watching the Heat only shoot 2 free throws. That's funny. That's an NBA fan from a long time ago.
I get it. That 06 Game 3.
Oof.
That was brutal.
So, and then a couple other comments on Joker's hair. One says Sling Blade out there triple doubling. Have you ever seen Sling Blade?
Yes.
I like them French fried potatoes. And this one says Joker has the Timothy McVeigh haircut. Now, there's no reason to bring up that kind of name, but I think you're right.
The haircut's fried. That's the worst part about him, which you got to love it because he don't care about his appearance.
No.
I don't want a guy like James Harden that has to groom his beard every day and stuff. As much as I love James Harden and think he's one of the best offensive players ever, he has a lot of red flags, a ton of red flags that clearly affected his career. Like, you can't deny it one bit.
There's a high maintenance quality to him.
Exactly.
Joker does not feel like that at all.
Zero.
None.
Like,
That'd be a great question. Ask the trainers, ask the staff, the coaches, the teammates. What does he demand? Tell me something he demands. How is he a prima donna? Because I haven't heard one yet.
maybe just baklava for dessert every night.
Yeah, right.
Just something European. I don't know.
Weird food.
Yeah, you talked about what Eric Spoelstra should do, Chad. I would go to Pat Riley if I was Spo, and I would say, yo, can I get fined? Because 2 free throws, like you in your day, if the Boston Celtics would have held y'all to only 2 free throws, you would have said something crazy.
So you're saying in one of these 2 press conferences on the off day, let him say something that'll get him fined?
Yes.
Okay.
Time to get fined. It is what it is.
Right.
Like this is where we are, because that's some BS.
Because Riley has done that. Pop has done that. The best of the best. Phil Jackson used to do it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Phil Jackson would strategically throw those comments in.
Yeah, and you can do it, you can finesse it to where maybe you don't get fined as much, like, because the reporters are going to ask you, Mina's going to ask you, they're like, what do you think about the 2 free throws? And then throw it back at them. Have you ever seen that before?
Uh-huh.
Because I haven't.
Maybe you ask it this way. Hey, Pat, can I get a $10,000 fine? Not a $25,000 fine. Can I throw out a $10,000 fine comment?
Do you think they have, like, camps for that? Like, people that could help you? Like, okay, if you say this, 25,000. If you say this, like, maybe there's an AI for that.
They probably is.
There probably is.
They have a guy come in like Crash Davis in Bull Durham to give you help with your stuff, and this is help. Well, here's how to get the call. Get the call, and this is what your fine is going to be. We'll see what happens for Game 2. Game 2 is, again, not until Sunday, so a lot of time off. ABC Sunday at 7 o'clock. For Game 2. All right, coming up, let's get into football. The SEC finally made a decision, and if you just look at it on its face, it may not seem like progress. But trust me, there's progress in there, Longhorn fans. We just have to dig for it. We'll talk about it next on The Horn. All right, this is Chad talking Apple Leasing. I love my car from Apple Leasing. In fact, today I got the oil change, got that inspection done because it has been right at a year. And I've loved every part of the process. It was so simple, getting the conversation started, finding out about how the Easy Lease works, and then getting everything done. All you do is call 346-9977, just like I did. I ended up talking to Beth, and she was so helpful to explain how everything worked. I had questions because that's kind of who I am. I'm an OCD guy. I had a lot of questions, and I'd been looking at cars and stuff. She was able to take all that information and then go out to all the different dealerships that they have connections with around the town, around the region, around the country if need be, to find you all the different rebates, all the different sales, all the different opportunities for you. That way, it's the easiest and safest way to get a new car. Save you all that legwork. Save you all those signing of documents in a dealership. You do all that electronically, and then in the end, they delivered it right to my driveway, and they'll do the same for you. They'll drive your trade-in away if that's what you need them to do as well. Call 346-9977. Tell them you heard about it here on The Horn, or just go online to appleleasing.com.
Chad and Zay.
It is so sick that I knew that song. I think I knew it that quickly, too. Is this King for a Day by Thompson Twins?
That's right.
Bam. Why am I happy? Why am I bragging on that? Why am I bragging on myself for knowing the Thompson Twins? I have no idea.
So why were they called the Thompson Twins with this brother in it?
Honestly, I don't know who was supposed to be the twins.
I mean, I'm assuming the two white people.
I don't even know if there was anybody named Thompson in the band. I think they were just, look, Zay, it was an age of cocaine. As I've tried to explain to people, when you mix all that hairspray with all that cocaine, you can't really look for logic. Stuff goes wrong.
Okay, so Thompson is obviously a black-ass last name. Thompson, Jackson, Robinson. So I would say it's his name, the brother, and the twins are the other two white people, the lady and the white dude.
Thompson Twins.
Thompson Twins.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, I'm going out on a limb there.
It's the best thing I've heard so far. I haven't heard anything better. We'll go with that. Thompson Twins today, and Texas baseball coming up against Louisiana. The tournament cranks up today. Let's see if Lucas Gordon and the Longhorns can get that very critical early win to stay on the winner's side of things. Obviously, it's Miami and Maine on the other side. They play tonight, I think, scheduled 5 or 6 o'clock if you're keeping up with it. So if Texas wins today, go to 5 o'clock tomorrow. If they lose today, that loser's bracket game would be at 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Damn, they play baseball in Maine?
Yeah, apparently.
Man, a little bit nippy there, don't you think?
The Black Bears.
All right.
I bet the Black Bears are thrilled to be in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I bet they are loving that. If you're a Maine player, I'm guessing when the girls walk by on the beach in Miami, you enjoy that.
Oh, yeah.
I got to think
looks a
you're
little
into it.
different.
Yeah, got to keep the distractions to a minimum if you can. So baseball coming up at 12:45. It's Chad and Zay. A little extended pregame, if you will. We talked NBA Finals. Denver up 1-0 on Miami. The other big story of the day is the SEC finally deciding on its scheduling. They're going to go 8 games or they're going to go 9 games. Well, it's not the best news possible, Zay, but I don't think it's a crushing piece of bad news here. They're going with 8 games, but they're being pretty clear that this is a 1-year thing. Maybe it's 1 or 2 years, we'll see. But this is not permanent, but it's 8 games for now because they think that'll be a little easier for 2024.
Yeah, and I'm good with that. I feel like the SEC wouldn't mess this up by not putting A&M on the schedule for Texas, and we know that one rival game is going to be Oklahoma. So, it seems like, especially with us and how we talk about things, it seems like the schedule affected the University of Texas more than anybody else, just because, like with what Justin Wells told us the other day, everybody's a rival. So there's definitely 3 teams. If it were to be that 9-3 schedule, there's definitely 3 teams on there that Texas would play in Arkansas, A&M, and Oklahoma. But for everybody else, that's where it gets fishy. And that's what we've been talking about all week long. So at the end of the day, it's going to affect Texas the most. I think going from year to year to see how it goes is good. But yeah, in 2024, 8 games, I'm fine with that as long as A&M's on the schedule.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And we're going to find that out on June 14th. So we are 12 days away. They're going to do a prime-time SEC Network event. Zay, are you prepared as a Longhorn fan to have to tune in to SEC Network to find out something important?
Yeah,
you ready for that?
I mean, yeah, that's where we are, I guess.
Our man Chris Bennett heard you chant SEC earlier and threw up in his mouth a little bit and texted to us, hey, I don't have that kind of conference pride. I'm not chanting SEC. There's a lot of Longhorn fans in that world, I know. So it's going to be one of those baby step processes. But on June 14th, we'll find out officially if it's Longhorns and Aggies in 2024. Let's hope it is, because otherwise that's going to feel like a little bit of a letdown. So I went through, Zay, real quick today on who would be the one for everybody. You tell me if this makes sense. I think there are 4 that are just glaringly obvious. Auburn and Alabama.
Yeah.
Mississippi and Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And Florida, Georgia.
Yes.
Like those are lock-ins for me.
Right.
Then here's what I did with the other ones. I went A&M LSU.
Ugh.
You could also go Arkansas there, I guess, if you wanted to. To me, I don't know who else you pair A&M with if it's not Arkansas or LSU. So I went A&M LSU. I went Arkansas, Missouri. I went Tennessee, Vanderbilt because of the state thing.
Oh,
And
gosh.
then I went Kentucky, South Carolina. So that's sort of what the others would be. And then you have those other 7 games. The thing that they're going to need to watch here is deep down, if they think they might be going 8 long term, they got to figure out if they're going to do so for Texas and Texas A&M. That means you won't play it every year. Are you going to go every other year, or are you going to go 2 out of 4? Like, are you going to do a home and home situation and then switch it back? So is it Texas and Texas A&M 2 out of 4 years, or is it Texas and Texas A&M every other year? They're going to have to figure that kind of stuff out. If they really want to stick with 8, I'm thinking they're going to end up at 9.
Yeah.
I think eventually they end up there. Sankey secretly wants 9. Not so secretly. He's letting it out. I think that he wants 9.
By the way, Greg.
Saban wanted 9, but he's trying to backtrack to 8. I think they'll be okay. Here's the key, though, Zay, that people need to realize. This is where I think the good news is in the deeper level. They also have said 8 conference games plus every team has to play 1 game non-conference that matches up with ACC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, or a major independent. And that's a group of 60 different teams that are not Wofford and are not Chattanooga. Now, I'm not saying Wofford and Chattanooga aren't still part of it because they may be on the backside, but at least they are mandating that this happen. Now, the independents also include not only Notre Dame, which everybody would think of, and remember, BYU's not an independent anymore as of next year, but it includes Liberty and Army and New Mexico State and some of those kind of teams. But at least it's FBS. At least it is, you're making them play. Everybody's got to play one of those.
Right.
I think that's good news. So then.
And the Horns already got that locked up with the Michigan, Ohio State
Yeah.
schedule coming up.
And hopefully
years.
Hopefully they'll still do that. And hopefully this mess Nick Saban's talking about, like, well, if we go to 9 conference games, we may have to look at our Shut up, Nick. You're Alabama. Play Wisconsin and an SEC schedule. Stop acting like you'd be afraid to play that schedule. So,
if they go play a Big Ten team, they're going for the Northwesterns or the Rutgers.
They may do that. They need to keep this Wisconsin scheduled, though. If I agree with you, the natural fit for Texas having those 3, it really fits. The other team that really fits for me is Bama's. If you're going to make Bama play Auburn, LSU, and Auburn, LSU, Tennessee, all 3 of those feel like it matters.
Right.
Because it's Bama. Just like all 3 of the Texas ones matter because it's Texas. It's Texas playing 3 teams that can't stand them, and they can't stand those 3 teams. You can't really say that about other combinations, maybe LSU and some others, but I'm really excited about it. I hope we can get a little closer here. So we may be like less than 2 weeks away from finding out that the Longhorns and the Aggies will get together in 2024. Play it. We'll see where it's going to be played.
They'll probably be playing College Station.
Now, that won't be determined on the 14th. That's the other thing we should say. They're just going to lay out the opponent. I don't know if they're going to give us home and road at that point. Actually, they probably will. They'll probably do it like the NFL.
Okay.
They'll probably lay it out to where you'll say you're going to be at blah, blah, blah. You're going to host blah, blah, blah. So I think that maybe we do find out if it's College Station or Austin in 2024. I won't care either way. Doesn't matter to me. My OCD says make it Austin because that's what you used to do anyway. Even was Austin, odd was College Station. Go right back to it. I don't care. And it would be rotation from the last game.
Just on some SEC petty stuff, they would probably flip it. Just to say,
turn it around.
We don't want to do what the Big 12 did.
They might.
We do our own thing.
And like I've said, I could understand giving, I know you disagree with this, but giving the Aggies a little bit of a caveat in case they are a little salty about being told that Texas is coming to the conference, letting it start in College Station. I don't know that would hurt anything.
Y'all always going to be little brother. That saltiness, just swallow the pride, man.
No, the saltiness will always be there.
Yeah.
Like I said, I do not care which one they play it at. They just need to keep it home and let's play. Let's go.
We talked about it yesterday. I'm good with Cardwell Stadium. Pack house.
That weird, bright-ass green hotel will be sold out in Caldwell if that's where they play it.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, so that is the exciting news out of the SEC. At least we know kind of where it's headed. And on Wednesday, June 14th, we will find out exactly what the Longhorn schedule will be, and all those schedules in the new SEC will be for 2024. Just keep this in mind. When A&M and Missouri joined, the SEC went 2 full seasons before they got a rhythm and like a real pattern going. So A&M plays South Carolina every year right now in the SEC. They didn't set that until 2014. They played 2 years of a different kind of schedule, then they switched over. So you got to have a little patience with the SEC sometimes. It takes them a little while to reset what they're trying to do. All right, it is about time for Texas to get started in the tournament. Can they get on a roll? Can they get the rhythm back that they lost in Arlington? Best news I can give you today, Longhorn fans, this game does not happen at Globe Life Field. They are in Miami and Coral Gables. Texas and Louisiana coming right up, 12:45 pregame and a 1 o'clock